So you're off to a really good start this season. Can you talk about like it being a little bit of a reboot and like cast changes and everything, like how you work that all out?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's a reboot, but we definitely are giving it a little bit of a fresh start, and I think that we're taking the show, we're trying to keep a lot of the sort of pieces of the show that everyone really loves. The humor, the fun, the monsters, the pace of the whole thing, the twistery. At the same time, I think just whatever sort of issues we had last year, a lot of it had to do, I think, with story panning out, or story changes feeling like they maybe were too sudden, or things sort of happening for no reason. And I feel like this year you'll find there's a lot more sort of consistency. We have a really solid plan, and we've been sort of setting up some really, really cool things down the line. And we're just sort of excited with all this. And also we have these sort of great new cast members that have come to the ensemble, and it's really great to have them with us. And I think you'll see as well that everyone is there for a reason, that there's a real strong story reason for them to be there, and a lot of sort of fun stuff that'll play out for all these new characters as well.
So far, the flashbacks seem relatively serialized. Can you talk about if that will continue moving forward, and how they might relate thematically or plot-wise to the present-day storyline?
That's an awesome question. It's true. The flashbacks are feeling a little bit more serialized. While we will sort of always dip into different time periods in the past, we're not telling a specifically chronological past storyline. I think you will find this year that by design, again, we are trying to create a story in the past that will pan out in a very big way in our present-day story.
Can you talk at all about if Pandora might play a factor in the past, because she seems to have maybe powers that could allow that to happen?
Well, I think Pandora is, I'll just say this, her influence is sort of far-reaching, and I think a lot of interesting stuff in her character as to how long she's been around, and so we'll definitely you'll be finding out a lot more about Pandora very soon.
What has been some of the challenges this season as opposed to last season?
Well, one of the big challenges was actually just a really physical one. We moved our entire production to Atlanta, and that was it was a very big change. We had to literally put a lot of our sets on trucks and ship them. And a lot of our crew came with us, but we also had to bring on some new crew. And I think that what we've gotten actually now that we got it up and running and we've got these first few episodes in the bag, it's actually turned out to be fantastic, and we're really loving it. But that was a tremendous challenge to sort of uproot your entire production and move it.
I think it's interesting the way that the show sort of uses, like, you take something like Gotham, where it's using a mythology that exists and characters that already exist, and it must be really fun for them to sit in those rooms and sort of think about how to subvert those ideas and take those pieces and mold it into something different. And Sleepy Hollow does that with history, with fact.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about like how those twistery pieces get pitched, and how you sort of work them through in the writer's room into something really fun.
That's an awesome question. We love dipping into history and sort of reframing it and showing people a sort of a side to the history that they may not have known. When we actually pitch those stories, there's a couple different ways we come up with them. Sometimes it comes from a thematic place where you sort of want to tell a story something that Crane experienced in the past, or something that will resonate in the episode. We actually have a writer on our staff, Joe Webb, who is a sort of a history, he's our history guy, and sometimes what we like to do also is find some iconic moments within history, sort of those moments that everyone knows, like Paul Revere's Ride, or things that we all sort of learned about in middle school. And so sometimes we have a big list of those moments up on the wall, and we sort of think about, well, is this a story that we could tell that would feature that moment? Like, we've been wanting to do a don't fire until you see the whites of your eyes.
I love that so much.
For a very long time. But there's also historical characters that we are really interested in bringing in, and we always are. Those characters get pitched a lot. Betsy Ross is a character that was pitched last year numerous times, and we finally found a way this year to sort of to make her matter. So. Sometimes it's an iconic moment, sometimes it's an iconic character, or sometimes it's just it's a way to flesh out story. And also, it's not just Crane. I mean, Abby has Grace in the past, and so there's a lot of stuff we can dig into for her and Jenny in the past as well.
Are we going to revisit Grace?
That would be cool.
In past episodes, we've occasionally seen flashbacks for Abby's character, and I especially liked when we got to meet her mother.
Yeah.
Are we going to see other flashbacks from other characters' perspectives besides Ichabod, and potentially in relation to Abby and Jenny's father?
Well, we definitely will be. We'll definitely find a way, and we'll be playing with this new revelation about Abby's father, and we're always trying to sort of stretch the flashback perspective. And I think that it's something actually we talk about a lot in the room. A lot of the times it's a specific memory to Crane, and we've sort of found ways, I think, especially with Betsy, to allow us to tell stories in the past from other perspectives. So, I think you'll start to see where we're starting to play with it.
I love their dance scene, and it reminded me of True Lies. I was like, it's fantastic, the spies undercover dramas. But I also wanted to ask you about Daddy Mills. Like, has he been cast yet? And will we only see him in flashback, or?
Well, I can't talk too much about it, but I will say that it's something that we've wanted to do for a while, and I think that, like everything this year, we're really trying to do things when they should happen. Like, for example, we all want to, now that we've introduced this character, you want to just, let's just pour it on, but there's the right moment, I think, to get into that. So, and I think our partners at the Studio Network have been really fantastic this year, sort of letting us do that. Not just having sort of big things happen because it's cool to have them happen, but so we definitely will be getting into some of that stuff. But I think it's hard to say trust us, because I think that we've gotten a lot of flack for that. But I think that you guys should just know that we do really have a plan.
Has he been cast yet?
Now, last season you guys did 18 episodes, and it felt like it was like a definite split as far as the structure, and you're doing 18 again this season. Is it gonna be that way? Like, will we be building towards a big mid-season climax?
We definitely look, that's something that's part of television.
Yeah.
I think that all shows try to push towards, many shows try to push to, especially if you're going to take a little bit of a break, you push to a exciting episode. So, so there definitely will be some really exciting stuff happening in our mid-season. But kind of like I said, last year it felt a little bit like there was almost 2 seasons, and
exactly.
And this year we're really planning for the long haul. We're setting things up in our first few episodes that you'll see playing out all the way through. So yes, there'll be an awesome mid-season episode, and then but we're not going to sort of then
switch gears completely.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You're talking about things happening very organically, bringing in Betsy Ross, bringing in Pandora, fleshing her out. There's also talk of these 7 tribulations.
Yes.
Could you speak a little bit more about that?
Well, I mean, at the end of the pilot, we sort of learned that the witnesses are going to face these tribulations, and the way we've been looking at it is that the whole experience with Moloch was the first tribulation. So, and here we are in the second one, and Pandora is plays a very big role in it. And the tribulations are not just sort of the advent of a new foe. They test our characters in very different ways. I feel like the first tribulation was very much about family, and this tribulation, I don't want to. I think there's a thematic resonance to these tribulations as well, and we'll be doing a lot more tribulations down the road.
All right, thank you.
Can you?
Thank you.
Thanks, Raven.
You can have a last question.
Sure. Is it? Can you talk about when Tom was cast originally?
Yeah.
Apparently, the word that it was said that he impressed producers and creators so much with the audition that the role that was initially envisaged for an American went to a British.
Yeah.
Is that true? And also, what do you think he's brought to the role over the last 2 seasons?
Well, first of all, I wasn't there for the audition. I came out on the second season, but I've heard a lot about that moment from the other producers. Tom came to it with he had already sort of decided for himself who very much, the role was on the page, so he read it, but then he sort of brought a physicality to it and an attitude to it that was just sort of stunning, and I think it blew people away. I think a lot of times, in network television, the push is always to have your lead be American, and I think that this character, when he brought his own voice to it, it just sort of sang. So I don't know, I can't say enough great things about Mr. Meisen. He's just a phenomenal actor, and he cares very deeply about the character, so much so that in terms of when we, he's very generous when we work on dialogue or on scenes, but he'll come to us with some of these great words that he's found, or a type of weapon that he feels like Crane would carry, and he's very careful. And people always say that actors are the stewards of their characters in television, and Tom sort of is the best version of that. He's very generous, but also he won't let things slip through. He wants to make sure the character remains consistent.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much.